Okay, so before we begin, I just wanted to point out the quiz to you. So it's in the assignments folder in digestion, and it's called nutrition. And so let's see if we can get a preview of the quiz. Here we go. So these are the questions that you should be listening for as you go through the lecture. There are all kinds of confusing messages in the media about what you should be eating and why, sort of like this mix of road signs. There are a few major groups of nutrients that your body needs to grow, repair damage, and maintain basic bodily functions. Food also gives you energy. By the end of the video, you should be able to distinguish between a calorie with a capital C and a calorie with a lowercase c, and list the major types of nutrients and their functions in the body. As you saw in the last lecture, the digestive system is long and pretty complicated. On average, it takes most meals 24 hours to get from the beginning to the end. This is because the food is broken down and absorbed very slowly. The more slowly food is broken down, the more energy can be extracted from it. Imagine that you want a midnight snack, and so you need a light to make it to the kitchen. You could light the way to the kitchen by setting off firecrackers. A lot of that energy would be wasted because it was all released at one time. On the other hand, you could use a battery-powered flashlight. The energy from those batteries is released slowly, so it can all be used for something useful. If you release the energy in food quickly, a lot of it would be wasted, but if you release it slowly, much more of that energy can be used. That's why the digestive system is such a long tract that involves many enzymes or chemicals that break down food slowly to extract the most energy and nutrients possible. The energy in food is measured in calories with a capital C. A calorie with a little c is the amount of energy it takes to raise 1 gram of water 1 degree Celsius. The calories used to measure the energy in food are 1,000 times this amount of energy. If you were to look on a food label from something made in Europe, instead of saying calories, you would see kcal, or kilocalories. Kilo is a metric prefix you may have learned that means 1,000. If you think about food with a lot of calories, they have either a lot of sugar or fat, or maybe both. These are the two main nutrients that your body uses for energy, though it can use other molecules if it really needs to. There are 6 main categories of nutrients needed for growth of our bodies, repairing things that are damaged, and maintaining important bodily functions like removing waste, building bones, defending against invaders, and keeping hormones in balance. All of these nutrients except water are found on food labels. Carbohydrates are things like sugar and fiber and generally come from plant products. Fats are found near the top of the food label and are broken down into a couple of different categories. Protein-rich foods are usually animal products, but nuts and seeds have a lot of protein as well. Finally, vitamins are found on the bottom of the food label, and minerals like calcium and magnesium are found there as well. One mineral is found on the top of the food label because it's a mineral that should be limited in its consumption, and that's sodium. Water is the only nutrient we need that's not listed on food labels. However, water is in a lot of food, and not just drinks. Fruits and vegetables contain a lot of water. Water is important for us because all body processes take place in water. By body processes, I mean chemical reactions essentially. Salivary amylase is a chemical that breaks down one kind of carbohydrate, starch, into another carbohydrate, sugar. It's found in your saliva, which is mostly water. The chemical reactions that take place in your stomach, like the breakdown of protein, also take place in a watery environment. Water fills and surrounds your cells, makes up most of your blood, which carries nutrients and waste throughout the body, and makes up other bodily fluids like sweat and tears. Water also helps to regulate body temperature. It forms sweat to cool us off, and it holds a lot of heat to keep us warm. Waste must be dissolved in water so that it can be disposed of safely. So water is really important because so many chemical reactions take place in water. It helps regulate body temperature, and so many body fluids are made of water. However, you're constantly losing water when you get rid of waste. Sweating and urinating release waste products and water. Even when you breathe, you're releasing water. That's why you can see your breath on cold days. So to replace all that water, you must drink at least a liter of water every day. That's about 4.5 glasses. You may have heard to drink at least 8 glasses of water a day, because the more water you drink, the better it is for you. And if you drink too much water, you can just pee it out. Carbohydrates can be broken down into two groups: simple carbohydrates and complex carbohydrates. You can tell the difference when you eat them because simple carbohydrates taste sweet. Complex carbohydrates don't taste sweet, but some can be broken down into simple carbohydrates by salivary amylase. There's one type of carbohydrate that your body cannot break down, but it's still necessary for good health, and that's fiber. Fiber is the stuff cell walls of plants are made from, so a lot of fiber comes from fruits and vegetables. Even though you can't break it down, it helps the rest of your food move efficiently through your digestive system. It keeps you regular. Some of the newer fad diets limit carbohydrates, and because the excess sugar in your blood gets stored uh, either in your liver or as fat. So now we've learned two functions of the liver: to produce bile, which breaks down fat, and to store excess sugar. It's a pretty important organ because of its many functions. Speaking of fats, they sometimes get a bad rap, but they're actually needed for many important functions in your body. Fats make up cell membranes and membranes that surround organelles. They insulate nerve cells to keep messages moving quickly. They make up some hormones. Fat's needed to absorb some vitamins like K and D, and fat surrounds organs to help protect and insulate them. Fats can also be broken down into two groups: saturated fats and unsaturated fats. Unsaturated fats are good for you and are liquid at room temperature. Many of these come from plants, and they're often used for cooking oils. Saturated fats usually come from animals and are solid at room temperature. They're bad for you because they can clog up your arteries, making it hard for blood to flow. Athletes and weightlifters are concerned with getting a lot of protein because protein helps to repair their muscles. When you work out, small tears form in your muscles, and when your body repairs those tears using proteins, muscles build up and get bigger. If the body doesn't have enough protein to do this, muscles might not heal as fast or get as large. Protein also helps to repair skin. Proteins speed up chemical reactions and act as channels for substances to move in and out of a cell. Proteins are made of small parts called amino acids. When you eat protein, your body breaks down the protein into amino acids and then builds new proteins using those amino acids. There's 20 different amino acids, and many of them your body can build, but 8 of them cannot be built and you must eat them. These are called the essential amino acids because it's essential that you eat them. Animal products contain all 8, so vegetarians need to eat a variety of non-animal protein sources to make sure that they're getting all 8 essential amino acids. Finally, vitamins and minerals are substances that your body needs small amounts of for a wide variety of functions. Vitamins are things that can be made by living things. When the sun hits your skin, your body makes vitamin D. In your intestines, bacteria make vitamin K. Vitamins can be broken up into two categories: vitamins that can be stored and vitamins that need to be replaced daily. Vitamins that can be stored are called fat soluble because they're stored in fat. Vitamins that cannot be stored are called water soluble because they dissolve in water and you pee them out. Minerals are things that living things cannot make. They include things like calcium and sodium. Some are taken up by the roots of plants, and you get the minerals when you eat those plants. Another mineral, like salt, is actually part of rocks that you sprinkle on your food for flavor. A balanced diet made of different types of food is important so that you get all the nutrients your body needs to maintain body processes, grow, and repair any damage.